Fantastic Commander here, and we have a very special for you guys today. So we hit 1,500 subscribers just a few weeks ago. Right now we're actually sitting at 1,550, and as promised, this is the Q&A special. So we've had a long line of specials recently. We had the Easter special, and we had April Fools, and this should be the last one for a while, and we'll get right back to regularly scheduled content. But today we're going to be looking at some of the questions you guys asked on the questions tab on the Discord, which if you're not part of the Discord, go ahead and join that as soon as possible, please. That's me asking nicely. And also on the reel that was posted the other day. So if you left a question, thank you, and we're going to be looking at them right now. So with me, I have my very good friend Timmy the Enchanter, and he's going to be reading these questions, and I'm going to be answering them. So without further ado, let's look at the first question.
So we have a really nice question to start off with from Mr. Glowing. What is the first toy soldier that you can remember having?
The first ever toy soldier I remember having was some Timmy clones. I remember Walmart sold this set, and it came with a Jeep, an artillery gun, a tit, and a bunch of Timmy knockoffs. It was made by Imperial, and like I said, Imperial made Army Men forever and ever.
Yeah.
This was the first ever set I ever had. I remember being like a baby crawling around on the floor with it. And I actually found them at my local Army surplus store, the same set. So I guess they sat in a warehouse for like 30 years? I don't know.
Just like all the good things.
Just like all the good things in life, like the Ark of the Covenant or Fran Drescher's makeup.
Top man.
But anyway, yeah, that's the first ever Army Man I remember having. Just the Timmy clone, like so many other people from Walmart, of all places.
And what happened to those?
Well, you mean like the company, or?
No, those particular Army Men.
Oh, my mother threw them in the trash, which if you have a mother, mothers just do that. So it's just something that's like a fact of life. Mothers just throw things away. So
that was the start of his villain arc. Alright, so we have a really great question from the Friends 127. How much tanks you got?
How much tanks I got? That's a very, very well-structured question. A lot. I don't have like an exact number. Most of the tanks I do have, though, are Timmy knockoffs. I have a few actual vintage Timmy tanks. But the truth is, and I think this is something that may upset a few of you guys, is I'm really not much of a... I'm really not much of a vehicles guy. So like I have a bunch of figures, but I really don't have that many vehicles. Like most of my tanks are mostly Timmy knockoffs. That's why I haven't done like a vehicle collection video. But I do like aircraft. So anyway, that's something I am into. But as for like tanks and stuff, I have a lot, but there's not a whole lot of variety. Although if you look behind me in the commander quarter, you can see most of my tan, like special unique tanks. But other than that, yeah, I got a lot. Just a lot.
So follow-up question for the fans. Why don't you like Army Men vehicles? I know for a lot of the people out there, myself included, the vehicles are really cool, man.
It's not that I don't like the vehicles. It's really just I mostly put my effort and focus into collecting figures. So like, I do have like some BMC tanks. I do have like I said, Timmy tanks. And I have a bunch of others like model kits and stuff. I'm also not a big model kit guy as well. So I know a lot of people, yeah, who like do model kits. But yeah, that's really the reason why. I'm just not like a super big like tank and truck kind of guy, I guess.
Okay, valid. Alright, so going back to the Discord now. We got one from the Toasty Commander, a really prominent person in our Discord.
He is. Toasty, if you're listening to this, you're a big fan.
Love you, dude. What's the most exotic Army Man you have?
So probably the most exotic Army Men that I own I actually own some reproduction NPC African tribesmen. And they're really cool. I got them for the racist argument video because I thought they would be like just really outdated and really offensive, but they really weren't. They were actually really not that bad. I even showed them to my several black friends, and he said that they weren't that bad at all to him. They didn't really offend him. So, you know, I took his advice and I just didn't really feature them, although I probably will do a video on those eventually. So as far as exotic goes, I would probably say those, because they're just unlike anything else I do have in my collection.
Alright, I like that. Alright, now we got one from Army Stop Motions. What is your most expensive Army Man set?
Probably one of my vintage Marks sets. I'm a big vintage Marks guy, and I own quite a variety. I do have some Marks Robin Hood Knights, which those are pretty valuable. They're made by Plastimarks though, which that's the Marks factory that was based in Mexico, and they actually made figures up until the early 90s. So I had some of those in the bag. Another decently valuable set that I don't have a lot of play sets, but I do have a lot of vintage bags. I have some Little Bighorn BMC figures, which, depending on where you look, those can go all the way up to $30 for a bag of those. They're like from the 90s, but off the top of my head, other than those, would probably just be like my Mars sets, so, and my Toy Soldiers of San Diego. So really, other than all of those would really be like my most valuable figures that I have in my collection.
Wonderful, thank you. Now looking at what we have here, we have a really interesting question from Nathaniel914. And Nathaniel asks, if all your army men were to disappear and you could only pick one set to keep with you, which would you choose?
If I could only keep one set to keep with me, that's a good question. That is a really good question because I don't like to think about the prospect of all my army men disappearing again. That's something that I don't think I'm prepared for that, just at all, honestly. But if I had to only keep one set, I would probably just say like my 10E figures. Just because like I feel like those are like a great foundation for Army Men. Just like the set itself. Like I feel like the 10E Army Men, which I'm going to talk about a lot, are just like the pinnacle of Army Men set design. So I would just say some of those, really. If I could only keep one set, I'd say like a bag of just 10E figures, tan and green.
Nice, keeping it classic. All right, now we have a great question coming to you from PartyBall92. If you could collab with any Army Men toy soldier YouTuber out there, another one, who would it be and why?
That's a really good question. So, Army Stop Motions, I've been talking to him through our Discord for a while now, ever since he gave me that shout out. I really like his channel, and we both kind of do the same thing, so I could really see us doing a collab on something, as well as Sir Green Machine. He's a big Armies and Plastic guy, so I could totally see us doing something. Although, I would really like to do something with the General Mo, although he mostly does stop motion, so I'm not like a stop motion guy. But I'm a big fan of his. I've been a fan of his for a long time now. On top of that, Michael Ackerman has actually reached out to me. If you don't know him, he created Plastic Apocalypse. So I would really, really like to do like some work with him because he actually does short films now. So that would be really cool. So any of those guys, but probably mostly Army Stop Motions, which we probably will end up doing some kind of collab in the future. I can see it coming. I think we've even talked about it.
Yeah, it's really nice to get to talk to some of these other creators in the Discord. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
And speaking of some of the other creators, we actually have a really nice question from Sir Green Machine.
Oh, cool.
How do you feel now that you have 1,500 subs?
You know how it feels when you go to Subway and you get a sandwich and they put just a little bit more meat on the sandwich than usual? It doesn't feel anything like that. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know what that analogy was. In fact, I don't even know how to spell the word analogy. Like, I went to college.
You're an English major.
Exactly. And they didn't teach me how to spell it. And quite frankly, I want my money back. But yeah, it feels like that. What I just said. All of it. But the Subway part.
Question from Lil Oofy.
Hey, Oofy. He's a big fan.
Hey, Oofy.
He's been a big fan for a long time.
Now our boy Lil Oofy, he wants to know, will Simone ever forgive me? Question mark.
Probably not.
Probably not, dog.
Just if we're just being real, I know him. I actually don't know anyone named Simone. I think everyone named Simone died in 1863 at the, I don't know, Battle of Gettysburg or whatever.
I really don't think I've ever met anyone named Simone. I feel like that would be the name of a ghost that I would run into while I'm staying in like a New England hotel or like a second honeymoon in a failing marriage. So we're going to look at some questions now from our YouTube shorts.
What's this next question?
This next question from our YouTube watcher Fabrice. Why do you like collecting plastic army men? What made you start collecting them?
So they were my favorite toy growing up. I know I joke around a lot and say it's like some kind of coping mechanism, and I put on this like depressed character because I am one. But like really, I just really have always enjoyed, ever since I was a kid, toy army men. And then if you've watched my like first ever video, I talked about it where my mother got rid of all of them. Which, you know, like I said, that's just something mothers do. They just get rid of your toys as you get older. So. And I was upset about it for a while. Like, I remember walking around Walmart when I was like 18, I'd see the Army Men, I'd just like feel sad. But then out of nowhere, right when I turned 20, which was like 4 years ago now, I was just like, I really want to buy some Army Men. Just for no reason. I just had this urge to go and buy them. So I did. My girlfriend and I went to Dallas, or not Dallas, but we went a town over. And we went to the dollar store. That's what I was trying to say, not Dallas. And I bought like 10 bags there. And she was making fun of me the whole time, but she was really supportive. Credit where it's due. And it just started there. First, I started buying the ones that I had growing up. So like Tinny clones, Airfix clones, dollar store, you know, just stuff like that. And then it kind of started branching out to vintage and high dollar toy soldiers of San Diego and so on and so forth. So really I just connect with them, I guess, through my childhood, and I really enjoy connecting with other people's childhoods as well who also grew up with them, whether they grew up in like the 60s or whether it's some of the younger viewers who watch my channel today who are in their teen years who still enjoy Army Men. Really, I don't see anything wrong with collecting Army Men no matter what age you are. I know people far older than me who go out of their way to buy them. So that's really it. I just really enjoy having them, and I just really connect with them, and it's a really fun thing to collect. Like, I'm a big collector. I have a lot of collections.
Haven't even watched a third of the movies that you own.
I haven't watched it. I don't even know who Stanley Kubrick is, to be honest. I have all of his movies. Never met the guy.
Now another YouTube commenter we have, Eli Borg, hope I'm saying that right. How many Teddy Roosevelts do you have?
Just the one.
Just the one, just like there's only one bull moose.
There's only one bull moose. And I got him. I got that BMC set. I remember I got that set like 3 years ago now. I like bought all of their like Spanish Civil War and Alamo sets. at once, and I got him. He actually sits on the shelf on the commander quarter, so you might be able to see him in one of my videos in the background.
Now we have one from a good friend, Snow Detective.
Never heard of him.
If I'm here and you're there, then where is the person that asked? Now we have another question from the Discord. We have Gaming Possum. What games in the Army Men game series have you not played but would love to play?
So I have most of the Army Men series, except for the PC ones. Those would actually be really fun to play. But the ones that I do have that I haven't gotten a chance to that I really want to are both the Air Attack games. Those are actually really solid, like vehicle aerial combat games. They're actually really good. And if you know anything about the Army Men games, they're not very good, most of them. Like, they really, really aren't. I collect them just because they're Army Men. And someone what's down, oh. But yeah, the Army Men games, like, they aren't really super great. Like, all the Game Boy ones are kind of terrible. Sergeant's War is really good. And that was like one of the first ones I ever played on the GameCube. But yeah, I'd probably say the Air Attack games. And Toys in Space. Toys in Space actually looks like a lot of fun. So, those would be like the ones I really want to play, which I don't have Toys in Space, so that would be the only one I don't have that I'd want to play.
Toys in Space, that sounds fun.
It is. I've watched like the old cutscenes. I used to binge watch those on YouTube.
Really good question from the Friends 127. What is your least favorite and most favorite plastic apocalypse film?
That's a good question. I don't want to step on the toes of Mikey Ackerman. But my most favorite is probably the Sabretooth. Just because, like, out of all the Army Men stop motions, and if you ask any other Army Men stop motion person, they will tell you Sabretooth is the pinnacle. That is like the pinnacle of Army Men cinema. And I would probably say my least favorite is the Prisoner Operation, just because, like just out of three, I guess that's the one I connect with the less. Because I watched the old one when I was a kid.
Right.
I watched it way back in the day, like 10 years ago. And I watched the Sabretooth when I got into Army Men collecting, and I was like, I want to see what the Army Men community is like now. And I was like blown away by how good it was. So it just can't compete with either of those. I guess I just wasn't there for it. So it's still great, it's still really good. Just out of all of them, that's the one I just vibe with the least.
Now a question a couple different people in the Discord have been asking, mostly people we've already mentioned. How much money is YouTube paying you?
Not a lot, believe it or not. If I had to get, I'll actually break it down. I know a lot of YouTubers don't like talking about how much they make, but literally, like, the way it works is you get paid for every view you get when the person watches an ad on that video. So every time you skip an ad, I don't get paid, which I'm not telling you to not skip ads, like, you know, you do you. Like, because it's only 3 cents, so it's whatever. And there's also the unskippable ones anyway. So I get 3 cents every time someone watches an ad on one of my videos. That's how monetization works. So I make like $1 a day, barely. Like, it updates to about $1 each day. Between like 70 cents to $1 a day, which isn't a lot, but it's like passive income, really. So if you're really curious, that's how much I'm making now, which I'm expecting it to just grow and grow as I keep doing this. So, but there will be a Patreon, and I'm considering putting my Cash App up. A couple people have asked if they could like donate, and I've been a little opposed to it, but honestly, if you really do want to, just let me know. I can put my Cash App up if you really want to help out the channel, and maybe even for a shout out or something.
Another good one from Lil Luffy.
Lil Luffy.
Lil Luffy. Why do you have such a dark sense of humor? And for our last question, one that I also really personally enjoy, again from PartyPaul92, if you could have any vehicle in one 30-second scale, what would it be?
So I know I said I'm not like a big vehicle guy. However, I do love aircraft. I love like airships and stuff. Like the Halo Pelican gunship. I actually have 2 of the Revell sets. Those are really cool, and they're actually worth like a lot now.
They're really cool.
Yeah, so those are real cool. I like the Revell kits because they snap together. I know that's kind of controversial, but that's just what I enjoy. But if I could have any vehicle in one 30-second scale, it would be the Dragonfly from Avatar. If you don't know what that is, it's the big gunship in James Cameron's Avatar that like flies around, that like shoots the gas canisters at the Navi tree. It's like the coolest thing ever. And like in the lore of Avatar, if you don't know, it was actually designed by Miles Quaritch and approved and made by the RDA. And at the time of the first movie, that was the only one they had, but they made several more later on. Your Avatar lore.
Deepest lore.
The deepest lore. The blue people lore.
From blue army men to blue aliens.
Blue
Coming
aliens.
at you now at the turn of the tide.
Alright guys, that's going to wrap up the Q&A episode. So, thank you guys so much for our 1,500 subscribers. And we're already at 1,550. We hit 1,500 like 2 weeks ago, so we're doing really well. The next special will be at 2,000. It is going to be another theme special. I'm not going to say which theme yet, but it is going to be a theme. It's going to be multiple parts, I can tell you that. But that's going to be when we hit 2,000 subscribers. So hopefully we can do that within the next few months. And thank you, Timmy the Enchanter, for joining me and reading these questions out to me for me to answer.
Thank you so much for having me, Plastic Commander.
Of course. It gets lonely in here. I hope you know that. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and also check out the Discord and the subreddit. Links for both of those are over in the channel description. So, I'm the Plastic Commander.
And I'm Timmy the Enchanter.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
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 Mission accomplished. Well done, man. Pack it up. We're going home.